I assigned a chemistry assignment to some of my students today, and they were whining and crying, and I was exposing a lot of the fact that this is common. A very simple assignment can look overwhelming until you start to break down the pieces. And so, as we're breaking down the pieces, I said to them, guys, all we're doing is we're just counting atoms. If we can't count atoms, then we're cooked. I used the word cooked, and one of them, in despair, said, "When did he start using our slangs?" Bro, I thought it was the funniest thing. I say this because Matt Piscatella, in a post from September 5th, said, "Yo, I'm so Gen Alpha, it's kind of sus. I'm all about that mobile and PC gaming life, no cap." The cringe and the comedy. It says, "Consoles, major L, boomer vibes, too expensive for real. Plus, Roblox on the go is the real gas." Oh my gosh, I've never said that word before. Ow. This is- when you have to actually hear it every day and then hear a professional out in the in the industry use it. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let me catch my breath. I'm just recovering from that stupid cold. This thing about triggered a physiological reaction. He says, "I'm going to head out. Bye-bye, skibbity." Oh, man. Oh, gosh. Now, let's get serious, man. Because we're about to delete more, more fanboy hopes about, the gaming industry, the console sales. Now, I say this tongue in cheek, and I'm enjoying myself on this video, actually, because it's wild, because he just posted this. And when was this? September 5th, 2025. This kind of skipped me almost. From Circona's checkout service, $100 plus income households, is this like $100K? Now account for 43% of U.S. video game hardware purchases, up from 36% just a few years ago. 18 to 24-year-olds accounted for only 3% video game hardware purchases during the 12 months ending July 2025, down from 10% during the 12 months ending July 2022. Now, this is not to say that the behavior isn't going to change, but a drop from 10% to 3% is insane, because at 10%, you were already in a strange place. But again, think about the economic situation of an 18-year-old right now. Just imagine what an 18-year-old actually has to deal with in this particular economy. Those of us that are like, in a sense, emerging, and I'll call us emerging millennials, we kind of figured out, the sweet spot. We kind of got, I'm not going to sit here and say, everything was all fine and dandy and beautiful. We were hustling at some point in our careers, right? But at some point, things kind of, in a sense, evened out. But for these kids, things, are just kicking off. Not saying things aren't going to even out for them. They'll figure it out. I have hope. I have encountered these cats. They are fine. They're going to be fine. The economy sucks, but they'll be all right. Okay? Don't go sweat it. I think a lot of the parents, a lot of the old heads have been able to inculcate at least their layers of knowledge upon these children, and the ones with the head upon their shoulders are going to go out there and do fine. But you also got to say, admit that it takes time. The 18-year-old is probably just finishing, their mall job, probably thinking about college, maybe not thinking about college, maybe going to vocational school, maybe just getting a job to work a little bit at Walmart, Sam's Club, and whatever. Even with employee discounts at these places, they still don't necessarily see it as a viable purchase. Back in the day, the GameStop folk would buy all the consoles because they could leverage an employee discount and their dollars could actually go further, right? I remember days out going to GameStop and the clerks would be talking about, "Oh yeah, I just bought this game, I just bought that game, but that's not necessarily the case anymore. It's a different climate. So seeing these particular pieces of the conversation, you got to go back and look and say, man, what the heck is going on, right? Rob Fahey explores and says how the lack of price cutting for console hardware is turning into a huge problem for mass market franchises. This is also probably something that relates to what the Monster Hunter Wilds guy out of Capcom also went ahead and put in place. Capcom's president, this is pretty much him voicing what many in the industry feel. And honestly, PlayStation wants to make sure that they don't eat many more losses on their consoles. This is the time that they want to go ahead and, close up that gap that they're missing in terms of their profitability. So having a loss leader is not necessarily a viable plan right now, seeing as mobile basically bludgeons you. Why did you even make hardware in the first place, you ask yourself, to eat all these losses? And then the time suck games also bludgeon you. So why did you even bother developing this game for hundreds of millions of dollars? And look, you see what's his name over here, Mr. Borderlands guy smiling, and his game is about to pretty much get back into that top so many whatever list for at least a few weeks. So the whole thing is all tweaking. And I told y'all that this thing was coming. We started out this video talking about Skibbity and all this nonsense that the kids talk about. But man, I got to tell you, I've told you that they have no brand loyalty. The brand loyalty that you have, the brand loyalty that I had at some point, or I still maybe in a sense still hold vestiges of, is gone. It doesn't exist with these kids. These kids have been, in a place where they actually play community-based games. So them saying console, major L, it's just what it is. Like they're like, what? What do I care about the console? I can play Roblox on my phone with my friends. That alone, it traverses to me, if I buy the console, it's a machine that I can get back on the exact game that I was playing. It's not that I'm buying it because, I want to play Uncharted 6. I'm just telling you. I'm just being frank. This is why I think studios that are making single-player games need to go back to the 2008, 2009, 2006 perspective of making single-player games, where they could get them done in 3 years and get the sequel done the following 2 years, and leverage that particular exact demographics to constantly buy those games and make them money while their costs are lowered on the long run. If they don't do that and they're doing this 7-8 year crap, they're literally going to burn themselves out. That's what they're heading for, because the AAA developers have now figured it out. They're doing it. And the AAA developers too, if they can just cut their coat according to their cloth and not get uber, greedy just because they launched one game and then eventually they start to lose their minds and say, hey, why don't we make it bigger? They can do well. But the moment they start saying they want to make it bigger and it starts taking them time to develop, they'll lose the plot. They need to follow the From Software formula, but keep it AA. From Software has a launch cadence that is just beautiful. Many people don't look at them. They don't say anything. They just launch one game. They bow, they greet you, they tell you that they love you and they, respect you. And you buy their game and buy their game and buy their game. And then in 2 years, they don't say anything. They don't tease much. They don't do jack squat. And then before you know again, they launch another game. Then they bow to you and they tell you that, you're amazing as the best fans in the whole wide world. You're fun. You're amazing. You're wonderful. You're smart. They bow to you, and then they disappear for another 2 years. Then they make another game. Then they do the same. It's just rinse and repeat to the point now where before you know what's going on, they're going to tell you Sekiro 2 is coming out. And they're going to be like, oh, thank you very much for buying Sekiro. We love you. We respect you. We bow, we bow, we bow. And then they're going to disappear. Then they're going to come back and say, oh, Elden Ring 2 is done. And Night Rain was not an Elden Ring 2 game. What are you talking about? And they're going to bow to you and bow to you and bow to you. And they're going to do the same thing. The AA studios, now that you guys have a blueprint to follow it. Follow it. There's another blueprint in the industry that is also for those who like the 8-year games. You see, the 8-year games, I think, can be leveraged heavily. Let me throw it out there. I wanted to use this one for myself, but I'm gonna give you for free because it's there. But many of you know, I don't know if you guys are making games. CD Projekt Red. They won't shut up about their games. That's how they market their games. In fact, they haven't even finished making. They hadn't even the announcement for The Witcher. The ink hadn't dried. They made a demo for it. They just made a there's no, they made a technological demo, an assessment of the new tool. For a team like that, that demo was basically, I mean, it was warm up. When I don't know how many of you have actually seen a musician, a maestro practice, just do a warm up, do some scales. That's what that was. But now you were like, oh, we saw a tech demo of The Witcher, what it could be, right? Then they're gonna do another tech demo. Watch and see how many tech demos they do for 8 years, and then they're gonna launch the game, and you're gonna by then. You would have already put money in an investment account waiting for the money to grow so that when the purchase just shows up, you just click buy and you already have that game. That's how they also market their games. They don't shut up about it for many years, but they have very smart and interesting ways to continue to inform you that our game still exists. Developers are all different. Today's market is very different. There needs to be a lot of adaptation going out there. And it's no longer on the premise of, just some console. No, that's not how it works. Let me throw out a quiz. A lot of the major YouTubers, content creators, streamers that talk about the console space and the gaming industry, how many of your children have brand loyalty, or your nephews or your nieces or the children around you of your peers, to these consoles compared to the games? You're telling us this stuff on the internet, but how about you look around you and see exactly what's going on? If that doesn't change your mind, then you're not going to see the big picture. The picture is right in front of you. It's in front. It literally is in your fridge. Getting out a bowl of, as in your fridge, getting out a jug of milk and trying to make cereal. That's the picture. And then when he's done with that cereal, he's going to go play Fortnite with his buddies. You still don't see it? You still don't see it? Peace out.